What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a little bit different video. I set out to go fishing, but the weather's just terrible right now. It's 20 gusts of 20-mile-per-hour wind, probably higher than 20. Just not ideal for fishing conditions. It's windy, the water's ridiculous, it's white capping. So I haven't got a lot of sleep lately. Those of you that are parents will understand babies that are teething. So I decided to sleep in today. Glad I did. The water is just horrible. The next 2 days are supposed to be pretty terrible. I might try to do some fishing in like a pond or something tomorrow due to the wind. But I'll be back on track next weekend. I'm going to go to Arkansas and fish, and so I'll have some video of that. And yeah, so let's get into this video. I want to talk about the only baits that I will be using this fall into winter for the rest of the fishing season. Now, fishing season for me will usually stop around mid-November, late November, depending on the weather. I don't fish in December just for the fact that it takes up, or it cuts into my hunting. I do hunting around this time of year for deer and other things like that, so I enjoy the outdoors. So I will have other videos for you planned for that, so no worries there. And then I'll start fishing again probably back in February. Would probably be around the time, maybe late January, depending if it any snow melts or it heats up anything like that. So let me get into the baits that I use only, and these are the ones that you'll see me use for the remainder of this year. The colors may vary a little bit, but the baits won't. So the first one is going to be a spinner bait. This is like a sexy shad color with the gold and silver willow leaf blades on them. So this is something that I'll throw, especially when I see fish that are breaking or schooling and eating on shad and feeding, getting ready for the winter. Really good bait to throw. Next one I'll throw, it's a variation of that to me, is a chatterbait. Not always will it be, chartreuse and white. I may throw a green pumpkin, black and blue, just depends on the conditions. May throw one with a gold blade. And I'll buy the ones with the trailers in them. I'll use them sometimes with the trailer, but the trailers are pretty cheap and flimsy. So if those aren't working or I have to rip those off, then I'll use some type of swim bait to use that as a trailer. And what I'll do on these swim baits is I'll bite off probably around this top piece. I'll just bite that top half off, and then that way it makes the presentation a little bit smaller, but still gives it that swim effect. So that works really well, especially again if they're schooling, eating, feeding on shad, those types of things. Then for my soft plastics and pretty much everything that I'll use, with the exception of probably a Senko, I might throw a Senko, but it's not going to be in this video, is I use some type of creature bait. One that I've been using a lot lately is this green pumpkin Tommy Biffle bug. It's called the Biffle bug. It comes in green pumpkin, it comes in Sooner Magic, and some other colors. And I use it with the Biffle head, which is like just a loose football head on a hook. Texas rig, this is a hollow body creature bait, so I'll put it through and Texas rig it. And I've had a lot of success on this year, catching some good sized fish. It's a bigger bait. It's probably, I don't know, 4-inch bait roughly, maybe 4.5. And so it's definitely a good presentation for the bait that are the bass that are really hungry, but also for bigger bass. So I'll use that in green pumpkin or basically watermelon red. Those are the only two colors I use. Another one that I use not often because there's not a lot of places I can throw this, but I will, is a jig. I use a crawl trailer, pretty much match the hatch. If it's green pumpkin, I'll use a green pumpkin. If it's black and blue, I'll use black and blue, vice versa. So a jig is really good this time of year, especially to try to get that bigger bite. It seems to catch bigger fish. I haven't thrown it a lot this year, but with it starting to get colder and fish starting to eat more so that they can get ready for the winter where they'll be lethargic, this is definitely a bait that I like to throw in the fall, winter time. Another bait that you guys haven't seen me use a lot, but is a shaky head. I'll use a shaky head with, this is a Zoom trick worm, watermelon red. I also have green pumpkin and brown pumpkin. So those are some colors that I'll use to also show. The variation that I use for this bait is I'll use it on a shaky head or I'll use it on a Texas rig. Sometimes I'll use weightless Texas rig, and then sometimes I'll use just the weighted Texas rig. So that's another good bait to get the fish. This really, it has a lot of action on the tail in the water. It really gets the fish. The deal with this is though, is this attracts different species of fish, but also different sizes of fish. So you can catch really small ones up to really big ones with this. Another one that I'll use when the bass are being finicky, or if I want to switch it up, is kind of as another style creature bait. And this is a Gary Yamamoto grub, a hula grub. This has like, I'll use a skirtless jig head. I'll put it through here, and then I'll run it through where it comes out about right here, and then I'll just jig this off the bottom. It dances a lot and has a lot of movement and action to it. So the fish, it really drives the fish crazy. I use this in the watermelon red and black color. That's the only color I use in that one. So if the fish are being finicky, I want to throw something that they haven't seen, I'll go ahead and throw that, and a lot of times that works, or we'll get a bite, whether it's a reaction bite or actually just what they're wanting to eat that day. The next bait I use is a crawl style bait. This is a Strike King rigged crawl, and this is Texas rigged with a weight. Normally I have a peg on it. This one I don't, just for the video. So I very often throw it without a peg. So this is Okeechobee crawl, and this is basically like a green pumpkin color. I don't vary much from green pumpkin to watermelon red and black. The reason I will throw this occasionally is sometimes if I want to switch it up and it's a color that I think that the bass haven't seen, is I'll try to throw something that's got something primarily the color of a crawl, but like the blue flash to it, and that kind of will catch the fish's attention, especially if they're curious and maybe it's something they've never seen before, but it looks like something they eat. So I try to throw it a little bit different just occasionally to try to get their attention, to try to get it, especially if the bite's tough. So a crawl style bait is always good for the fall. Those are the baits that I use. I don't vary from those. I won't use any different ones. That doesn't mean because other baits won't work. That's just what I know works for me and what I have confidence in, so I'm going to stick with that for this year. Last thing I wanted to cover is the type of hooks that I use when I'm Texas rigging. I only use two styles of hooks when Texas rigging. I either use a straight bend hook, gamakatsu worm hook, or the extra wide gap gamakatsu worm hook, and that's I either use a red or gray for Texas rigging. I don't switch from those. A lot of times I prefer the straight bend because I feel like the hookup ratio when I set the hook is a little bit better. But if I don't have that, or it's just this is already tied on, I'll go ahead and use this. This has its benefits too. I feel like it has a good hookup ratio because they're really sharp in that. And then if I want to add a different presentation, maybe make the bait look like it's wounded or bleeding or something like that, I'll throw like a red hook on it just to kind of switch it up to give it a little bit different presentation. So, sorry I couldn't do any fishing videos. I'm working on it. Weather was crazy. I'll see you guys on Wednesday with a fishing video for sure of some sort. I'm going to have a fishing video. So in the meantime, hope you guys enjoy the time lapse, and I'll see you guys then. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.